All right, we're going to go over the test review, lessons 11.1 through 11.7. It does not include 11.3. Number 1 is asking for line S. If we look at line S is a tangent line. It goes on the outside of the circle, touching it at one point. Line S, tangent, is letter B. Number 2, RW. If we look at RW can be two things. It can be a diameter, and it can also be a chord because it has two endpoints on the circle. So diameter is E, chord is A. Line VT. If we look at VT, it goes through the circle, a line going through the circle, so it is a secant. And QT, the dot's off, but QT goes from here to here. It should be a radius, which is letter C. All right. The next one says, find the length of each radius, identify the point of tangency, and write the equation of the tangent line at this point. So number 5 wants the radius of circle D. So if we look at circle D, that's this big one. So to get the radius, we count from the center out, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I start here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it should be 4 all the way around. Circle E, this is a smaller one, so the radius is 1, 2, 1, 2, should be 2 all the way around. The point of tangency, that's the point in which the tangent line touches the circle, so that's going to be this coordinate. So it doesn't have an X coordinate, so it's Y, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. So it's 0 on the x-axis and negative 4 on the y-axis. And equation of the tangent line. Here's our tangent line. In this case, our tangent line is horizontal on the y-axis. So it's going to be y equals negative 4. Had it been vertical, up and down, it would have been x equals whatever coordinate it crosses on the x-axis. Okay. Number 9. Says FE and FG are tangent in circle F, find FG. Okay, so since these are tangent, that means that they're congruent. So we're going to set them equal. So 2 times 3 plus 6x is going to equal 14x minus 8. We're going to distribute 6 plus 12x equals 14x minus 8. I'm going to subtract 6 here, subtract 6 here. 12x equals 14x minus 14. Subtract 14x, subtract 14x. Cancels. Negative 2x equals negative 14. I'm going to go over here and carry it on over here. Negative 2x equals negative 14. I'm going to rewrite it. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. X equals 7. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going through that because you can always stop it and go over it if you need to find where. X equals 7. FG. This is FG. So we're going to do 14 times 7 minus 8. When we do that, we get 90. So we're just plugging in the number. Okay. All right, on this next one, it says the circle graph shows data collected by the U.S. Census Bureau in 2004 on the highest completed educational level for 25 and older. Use a graph to find each of the following. Okay, so here's our graph. The first thing they want us to do is they want us to find the measure of angle BAD. So if I go over here, BAD. So when it's talking about the angle BAD, it's talking about this angle right here. So we're going to add 32 and 17. And we want to make those decimals. And we want that out of 360 degrees. So the high school graduates at 32% and some college at 17% is going to be 176.4 degrees of the circle. The next one's asking for the measure of angle DAE. So here's DAE. So that's 18 that they're asking for, 18%. They want to know how many degrees of the circle is that 18%. So we're going to take 0.18 and multiply it times 360. And we get 64.8. 64.8 degrees. The next one is asking for the measure of arc BC. So arc BC, since it's coming from the center, remember that the angle and the arc are the same. So BC is 32%. So we're going to do 0.32 times 360. And we get 115.2 degrees. And the last one is asking for the measure of arc BEC. The major arc BEC. So here's B, go in the order of the letters, E to C. So we're going to be adding 25 plus that 1%, 7%, 18%, and 17%. So 25, 1, 7, 18, 17. $68. We're going to do 0.68 times 360. So all of that accounts for 244.8 degrees. Okay, next page. Okay, this next one belongs to this picture here. They tell us that the measure of angle UTV is congruent to angle XTW, so they're saying that these two angles are congruent. If these two angles are congruent, then these two chords are congruent. So for number 15, we're going to set the two chords equal. Y plus 4 equals 2y minus 3. So these two chords, set them equal. Okay, subtract 4 from each side. Y equals 2y minus 7. Subtract 2y from each side. Negative y equals negative 7. Divide both sides by negative 1. So y equals 7. But they want us to find WX. So we're going to go over here and plug in 7. So 2 times 7 minus 3. So WX should equal 11. Number 16, WX is perpendicular to YZ. They want us to find YZ. Okay, so these two are perpendicular. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the radius. The radius of this circle is 40 if you add these two numbers together. So if I draw a dashed line like this, that's also a radius. So if this radius is 40, then this radius is 40. I now have a right triangle. You look at it like that. So I have a height of 12, a radius of 40. So if I can find this distance right here, I can know the entire distance. So if I redraw this, this is 12, this is 40, this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to set up a Pythagorean theorem. So 12 squared plus x squared is going to equal the hypotenuse of 40 squared. So we got 144 plus x squared equals 1600. Subtract 144 from each side. So x squared equals 1456. Take the square root of each side. X equals 38.2. So that means that this is 38.2, but if we went the entire distance, that's 38.2. If we went the entire distance, that means that this is 38.2. So the entire distance, if you add them, would be 76.4. So 76.4 for the whole thing. Okay, the next one says circle L has a center of -5, -6, and a radius 9. Write the equation of the circle. Remember that this is the equation of a circle. So this is our x, this is our h coordinate, and this is our k coordinate. So we're going to write x, and it calls for minus h. In this case, it is negative, so a negative and a negative is going to make this one a positive. Square plus y, and then a -6 goes here, so negative and a negative makes a positive. Square. And the radius is 9, so this radius needs to be 9 times 9. 81. So 9 squared gives you 81. So this is our equation of a circle. On the next one, they want us to graph it. So again, using the equation, since this calls a -2, that means that our coordinates are going to be a +2, because that's our h. And over here, it's a +4, which means originally it was a -4. That's our k. So this is our center, and our radius is 16. Remember, this is r squared, so we have to take the square root of this, so the radius was originally 4. And we've already gone over all this through notes, so now we're going to graph it. So the center's at 2, -4, so I'm going to go over here, 1, 2, down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, put my dot. And then the radius is going to be 4. So from here, I'm going to go 4 all the way around. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 from the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, I'm going to connect all my lines. And there's my circle. Very pretty, I know. Okay. Find the measure of each below with the given figure. All right, so this first one is asking for measure of angle BAC. So if I come over here, this is BAC. This is an inscribed angle. So it's inscribed in the circle. So if this is 60, the angle is going to be half that size. So this would be 60 divided by 2. In that case, it'll be 30 degrees. So angle BAC is 30 degrees. The next one's asking for the measure of arc, minor arc, FE. So here's FE. So again, this is an inscribed angle. So if this is 70, the arc is going to be twice the size. So this one will be 70 times 2. So that arc will be 140 degrees. So I'm going to label this real quick. This one's 30 degrees. This entire arc here is going to be 140 degrees. The next one's asking for the major arc of FBE. So FBE. So it's going from here all the way around. So from here all the way around. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to look at this right here. This is going to be half a circle, 180 degrees. So if I take 180 and subtract 140, that leaves this little section right here as 40 degrees. So if I'm looking for here, A, all the way to E, I know that this from here all the way around is 180 degrees. So if I take this half, 180, plus this 40 here, that'll give me the entire amount, which is 220 degrees. Number 20 is asking for the measure of angle A. We're looking at this one. Remember that if the angles are congruent, then that means that this arc is congruent, that they have the same arc. So remember, this angle right here belongs to this arc. This angle belongs to this arc. So what we're going to do is, to solve for A, we're going to set the two equations equal. So we're going to have 8A minus 9 equals 7A plus 1. I'm going to add 9, 8A equals 7A plus 10. Subtract 7A, subtract 7A. So A equals 10. So I'm going to write that there. The next one's asking for the measure of angle ZWY. So here's ZWY. So it's asking for the angle. So we're going to plug this 10 in for A. So 8 times 10 minus 9. So that angle is going to be 71 degrees. The measure of angle ZXY. So ZXY, you plug in 10 here. 7 times 10 plus 1, 71 degrees. Arc ZY, so here's ZY. Now remember, this is an inscribed angle, so if it's an inscribed angle, that means the arc is going to be twice the size. So to get ZY, we're going to do the angle 71 times 2, so that'll be 142 degrees. And the last one is asking for the arc, major arc ZWY. So ZWY, from here, ZWY. If we know that this part right here, is 142, a whole circle is 360. So if we take away the 142 degrees, that leaves us what's left. So we take 360 minus 142. (218 degrees). Okay, this next one is asking for y So if we look over here, this one is an inscribed quadrilateral. Okay, so when we have an inscribed quadrilateral, the opposite angles, those two are opposite, are supplementary. That means that they add to equal 180 degrees. So therefore these two, let's see if I can find another color, are supplementary. So what that means is I have to add these two to equal 180 and add these two to equal 180. So I'm going to start off with this one. So 4y plus 13 plus this angle, 5y plus 1 equals 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this, 4y plus 13. And I'm going to distribute here, so that's going to be 5y plus 5 equals 180 degrees. Okay, combine like terms. So 4y and 5y gives me 9y. 13 and 5 gives me 18. And that's going to equal 180 degrees. Subtract 18 from each side. So 9y equals 162. Y equals 18. I divided both sides by 9. Okay, so I got y equals 18. So now they're asking for the measure of angle B. This is angle B, so I'm going to plug in 18 here. So 4 times 18 plus 13 is going to be 85 degrees. So angle B is 85 degrees. Now they're asking for angle D. So I'm going to plug in, well, I have two choices. I can plug in 18, or I know that these two are supplementary, so I can do 180 minus this angle, 85, and it would give me this angle as 95 degrees. And if I wanted the other ones, I would again add these to equal 180, plug in x, and get my answer that way. Okay, this next one is asking for the measure of angle RPS. RPS, that's this angle right here. Okay, how you get that is by taking the average of the arcs. So we're going to do this arc plus this arc divided by 2. So 201 plus 59 divided by 2. 130 degrees. So that little angle inside is 130 degrees. You might also see it like this. 201 plus 59 times a half. So you would add those again still and then multiply it times a half, which is the same thing as dividing by 2. Okay. Number 29 is asking for x. X is the external angle. So to do this, we do 173 outside arc minus the inside arc, this time it's subtraction, divided by 2. So 173 minus 79 divided by 2. So 173 minus 79. And divided by 2 is the same thing as times 1/2. It just depends which equation you prefer to use. So you get 18.8. Okay, this next one. This one is a secant line and a tangent line. So for this one, you have to do 9 plus 5. So the whole thing times the outside 5. And since this one's tangent, it's going to be square. So 14 times 5 is 70. And then we're going to take the square root of each side. Approximately 8.37. Okay, number 33. We're looking for x. This one is when you have two chords in a circle. So we're going to do 2 times 4 equals 8 times x. So that gives us 4 times 2, which is 8. Divide both sides by 8. So x is going to be 1. Now, if they happen to ask you for the distance of AD or BE, you have to plug that 1 back in. So if this one is 2 and this one's 4, this distance would be 6. So AD would equal 6. And BE would be 1 plus 8, which is 9. Now remember, the products are equal, but it doesn't mean that the chords are actually equal. Okay, and then number 34. We have two secant lines. We have 14 plus 4, which is 18, times our external 14 equals this entire distance, 9 plus z, times the external 9. So remember, the whole distance times the outside equals this whole distance added times the outside. So 14 times 18 is 252. And that's going to equal what we distribute here, 81 plus 9z. Subtract 81 from each side. So that's 171 equals 9z. And then we're going to divide each side by 9. So z is going to equal 19. And that's it.